Hello? Good. Thank you to Honorary for giving that amazing speech on artificial intelligence. Our next talk will be about youth advocacy. Everyone here knows that our world is far from perfect, and issues from international instability to climate change, there are many issues our society needs to address. We are now excited to invite Rana onto the stage to take a deep dive into how the youth can tackle these issues and lead the best path forward.
More than 6 in 10 adults suffer from chronic disease, whether that is heart disease, cancer, obesity, stroke, arthritis, or even diabetes. If you don't have chronic disease, someone you know or loved one does. And for me, that was true. The last time I saw my beloved grandma, or Ba as I would like to call her, was in India, where we would spend our long walks on the beach and while sharing shared laughters and smiles. These warm memories that I once thought I would have the chance to revisit again vanished. At the age of 14, the smiles of my beloved grandma had left the world. Cancer did not care about fond memories. A losing battle metastasized by malignant tumors only caused deliberate medical expenses to continue to climb due to neglection of premature care, calling a hospital a newfound home. These are the exact words that left my mouth and entered the ears of congressional representatives and senators in our nation's capital, where I, at the age of 16, advocated for chronic disease prevention programs under the CDC, alongside an increase in support for civic education and child care priorities. Meeting powerful youth over 1 week in one room made me realize how essential it is to have young people in democracy. In this generation, to be a youth voice in a room filled with adults, telling them our opinions and views, we are often met with gasps of horror, with commentary such as, "You're not old enough. What do you think you know? What makes you think you know this topic better than I do?" And my personal favorite, "You don't even have a college degree yet." My name is Rana, and I don't have a college degree yet, but I'm here to tell you that you don't need a degree to see that there's a new generation on the rise, the youth, that is changing the political landscape at an early age, reminding us that they do belong in politics. For some time, our country has been politically polarized, divided, separated by a barrier, into two sides, two letters, two colors, representing our ideals. And with that, lawmakers and legislators have lost sight in the priorities that truly matter to citizens. However, youth advocates from around the world are making that change. From environmental needs to healthcare, they are becoming America's newest visionaries. In a household where politics is limited and silence is overrun, my parents are hesitant to speak upon any necessary change. Recalling my Ba's bittersweet words, a promise turned into action. The rotunda became a witness to my own walk. As I marched across Capitol Hill, from room to room, chamber to chamber, I spoke with my congressional representatives and senators, telling them the issues that I cared for the most, telling them the story of my Ba, why chronic disease mattered to me, and why others should not have to go through what I went through under my Ba's care. However, my story is just one of many on how important it is for youth to get involved into politics and how they can be involved. Every election year, youth are the subplot to the election cycle. In fact, historically, youth have had low turnout rates when compared to other age groups. However, in 2020, we see a dramatic shift from 2016 to 2020, a remarkable 11-point increase. In 2020, 50% of young people aged 18 to 29 voted in the 2020 election, setting an all-time record high for youth turnout among any election in the 21st century. And these numbers will only continue to rise so long as you, as youth, continue to get involved. I know it feels like our voices aren't heard enough, or even heard at all. And any change that we seek to make never matters, regardless of our actions. And trust me, I felt the same way, waiting anxiously for days, weeks, months, just to hear a response or just to feel that my actions made a difference. Until one evening, when I read the headlines, President Biden approved for the fiscal year of 2024 budget an increase in $50 million for civic education. This headline brought a sense of relief to me, as I felt like my efforts were not drained or wasted, but it felt like a victory, that I was finally making a difference, a redirection in a new way. And just like myself, there are many young activists that are making this change. As of recently in the 21st century, we see young adults, teens, even children get involved in demonstrations, marches, protests, and they're not even of legal age to vote. Let's take, for example, Emma Gonzalez, a high schooler at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School at Parkland, Florida. What was a nightmare in trying to survive a school shooting turned into a passion for gun control. She spoke from outside her community to platforms ranging from her state to nations. But however, you don't need to speak on a large-scale platform to make an impact. Impact cannot be measured by size, because it starts with you taking the right step in the right direction, and it starts with your voice. And that is exactly what young activists are doing. Meeting the needs of environmental, social inequalities, and racial injustice. They are taking these steps not just in person, but also online. In times of quarantine, we've learned to live our lives online. So it may not come to us as a surprise that it was online content that motivated us to make a return for the streets. In times of isolation of COVID-19, we see video footages, to text messages, to news circulating across all platforms, not only connecting us, but bringing us together as a digital community. A digital community to foster a narrative filled with passion and energy. Youth activists took to social media and began social media activism, with movements such as Black Lives Matter, #MeToo, and #LoveWins. They spread awareness and education about topics ranging from sexual harassment, racial injustice, to even LGBTQ rights, creating a more informed and empathetic society. Oftentimes, we see voices marginalized due to traditional media falsifying narratives. But with social media, we see that their own stories speaking their truth, empowering marginalized voices to speak up on matters greater than themselves. By fostering an open dialogue through hashtags, we are able to see a more inclusive and tolerant dialogue on systemic issues that affect us all. Now, you may wonder, with all the talks about how youth can get involved, why does it all matter? Because we need diverse perspectives. The reality is the issues that we see on the ballot box and in legislation don't impact just one group, they impact us all. When meeting with my representatives and senators, I filled the four corners of the room with my voice. I was the youth voice in the room. As I draw attention to myself and to my experience, to my story, the adults were the listeners. As youth, we must seek to reverse the roles, and instead of becoming active listeners, we must be active speakers to change the narrative. Our experiences and concerns differ from the older generation, and it is time that we bring that to the forefront of the table with new solutions and ideas. Oftentimes when we do this, we face challenges. These challenges can range from skepticism or to even bias from the people that surround us in our daily lives to political institutions. However, I'm here to tell you that we must overcome these challenges with resilience and determination, because young leaders are one of the most prominent and emerging figures in politics. In fact, they offer fresh perspectives, challenge the status quo, and offer alternative solutions to which our contemporary issues and problems that we face in our modern society today. Enter Maxwell Frost. He's the first generation Z member in Congress. He proves that age is just a number and not a limitation. He shows that youth have the capability of shaping the future. In fact, his progressive values have sparked a new civic engagement wave, from dismantling stereotypes with young activists to shaping policy. But you don't need to run for National Congress to make a difference. You can even start at the local level, whether that is at your local community with city officials or even on your school board. Change starts with you. And as Neil Armstrong would say, one small step for man is a huge leap for mankind. And by taking that small step, allow for 100 grand steps to follow after. Because by allowing yourself to take that one step, not only are you acting upon something, but you're allowing for many others to follow right after you. Because in this world, you are a young leader, and representation matters. It is important that we have a seat at the table alongside prominent figures and adults, because the issues that revolve around our society does not only affect one age group, it affects us all. And as youth, it is important that our concerns are represented at this table alongside prominent adults. You know, I've been up here for a long time talking about the importance of youth. You might feel that if my speech were a timeline, it'd be a history book by now. But let's be real, this isn't ancient history I'm talking about. This is the now. We are the future. We are the architects of change and the forces molding the future of tomorrow. You know, when I went to DC as a youth advocate, I was skeptical. I knew that there would be people disagreeing with me, with the perspectives and views I held, along with the issues that I supported. However, in a room filled with 80 youth advocates from around the nation, there's one sole motivation that brought us together. That one sole motivation was the issues that we held near and dear to our heart, the issues that we cared about the most, to find bipartisan agreement on these issues. Because the future does not lie on party lines. It doesn't lie on whether you're Democrat or Republican. We must unite beyond the party lines. Because we believe as a generation that we have a place in the government, that we can improve civic understanding and political engagement so long as the youth can impact and affect genuine change. Because uniting beyond party lines, there's no letter D or an R, but the Y, the youth. And the power, the collective power of youth is the future that lies ahead of us. Thank you.